Welcome back to the live domain of If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. I'm one of your hosts, VHS Chase, and next to me in a very different space tonight is Jason Roy Gaston. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful because I think that the television experiences that I had this week were stunning.
Well, I just wouldn't trust that person over your left shoulder there. I don't think I would be trusting that little Miss Minute
It's
right
not
there.
it's okay. She's just doing her job and she's doing a wonderful job.
All right, we better move on then. We better move on because we wouldn't want to get in any trouble. All right, Jace, we got a literal slew of shows to get through. Let's start it off this week, and we're going to go back to what I think has been a great season so far, and that is Rick and Morty. Season 7, mate. Here we are already.
Rick and Morty.
And do you know how many episodes we're in already? We've done, this is the 5th episode, so... you know what, this week, Jace?
This is the 5th episode.
Start it off.
That is incredible.
So I think I'll start it off,
it.
buddy, and we'll get talking about what I thought about this week's episode of Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's this season, and especially this episode, I seem to be enjoying a lot. I think I said this last week, and I'm going to repeat myself again. I just think the scripts are tighter now. It just feels like it's very purposeful. And the old idea that we're dealing with Rick again, his emotional struggles, is fantastic. The whole evil Morty thing. I love evil Morty. Evil Morty's my favorite Morty. I'm just going to put it out there. And the whole thing around Rick, getting to Rick Prime, it was to me a really enjoyable sci-fi mesh that was disturbing yet profound, and feels very Rick and Morty. This was this to me. I enjoyed this thoroughly. However, the Omega device is not something I may kind of want to purchase anytime soon, but it was a fun episode. And I'm not going to muck around. I don't want to give away the plot because I think the plot's worth discovering on your own. So I'm still saying this is G'day Dazza. It's a roo-rific episode for me. I get that short shiny there, boss. So are you ready to have a crack?
I am very ready to have a crack at this thing because I've been thinking about this for a very long time. Awesome.
Let's do it.
That's about right. That is about right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead. All right, so let's do it. So, Rick and Morty's episode 5. I can't remember what this episode's called, but who cares? It was great. I honestly am happy that Rick and Morty does not dwell on things and that they don't let things just run and run and run until you're sick of them. I mean, we were introduced to Rick Prime last season, around the tail end of last season, and now we are into I mean, come on, it's I don't want to give away the plot either, but it's dealt with. I mean, it's done, and I was just watching the entire episode thinking, are they really doing this right now? And they did, and I thought it was great. The Morty voice, didn't even notice anything weird this time around. I actually think that this new guy did the Morty voice perfectly. Did the evil Morty voice perfectly. The new Rick, Royland who, I don't even know who that is anymore. There was a lot of humor, a lot of horror. The whole idea that you can erase somebody from infinity is just absolutely chilling. And seeing Rick at the end just rudderless, not knowing what to do with his life anymore. Very profound. This is actually, I think, probably my favorite of the season so far. That and the spaghetti episode. I don't know. It's spaghetti or catharsis. Spaghetti or catharsis. Spaghetti or identity crisis. I don't know. I'm obviously I'm giving this one a thumbs up. It was an incredible episode. This has been the best season of Rick and Morty in a very long time.
Look, it has been, hasn't it, mate? I mean, I think, like I said, it feels purposeful now. Like their scripts, they know exactly where they're going. And I think because they're not having to deal with so much improv in ADR, in the recording booth, I think it helps them focus it in. And it was like that bit at the end when you were talking about like him it's that shot of him just standing still with just unfocused, staring into space as life is happening around him, and yet him forcing himself still to be engaged with the family. It was very powerful, I thought. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, Rick and Morty often makes fun of serialization and ongoing plot threads, but quite honestly, this is one of those things where I kind of want to tune in to see what happens with Rick next. Where does he go from here? Where does the universe's smartest man, what does he do when he has accomplished basically the entire point of his life? What does he do next? I think that it's
Exactly.
going to be a very interesting last few episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Stunning this season. So hats off so far to the team over at Rick and Morty. Let's move on. We're staying in Dan Harmon territory now again. Where we're going to have a look at Krapopolis, Jace. Krapopolis, which I've enjoyed the absolute everything out of so far. I've thought it was been excellent. So are you ready to take a crack at this episode? Which is episode, believe it or not, 8.
That's crazy. I can't believe the show's been on this long.
Yeah, it's called Big Man on Hippocampus. So take it away, sir.
Of course it is. Okay, so this show, if you are not watching the show, you are missing one of the most pleasant, strangely wholesome, and funny shows that is on television nowadays, because Krapopolis is just populated by this family, and I have no other word for it. It's a family. It's a dysfunctional, sometimes ugly family, but it is a family that you really just get this wonderful vibe of almost undercover love for each other. This episode, for example, you get an exploration of the relationship between Tyrannus and Hippocampus, which, it first seems kind of toxic and one-sided, but then you realize there's more to it than that. And plus, you get this whole deal about Deliria having to admit that she's wrong, and the relationship that she has with Schlub and Stupendous. And that's really what sells Krapopolis for me, is that it is a show about relationships more than anything else. And then in the middle of these relationships, you get these hilarious jokes. Don't look up when you walk underneath the giant. Just don't. And I don't know who painted them, but you're a brave man. So I'm going to stop it right there and say, again, if you're not watching Krapopolis, you just need to watch it. That's it.
Absolutely. All right, Jay. So I'm gonna have a crack now myself.
If I could just interrupt you for just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and let you have your 2 minutes. But what I'm going to do, because I'm having some connectivity problems, I'm going to nope out, and then I'm going to yes right back in. So I will be back and see if maybe that doesn't fix things.
Done, ski, mate. You do that. All right. Let's. He's just bumped out of there. So, you know what? I'm going to give you my review of what I thought of Krapopolis while we're waiting. Krapopolis, actually, this episode here was awesome. And it was really centered around a Comic-Con in many ways, which they call Volcon. And what Jason was referring to is that giant that welcomes everyone in and just reminds everyone he's a real person, not a statue. Absolutely wonderful. But Steve Buscemi guest starred in a voice in this episode, and he was fantastic as Hephaestus. I can never pronounce these names, but he was wonderful too, and he kind of represented corporate greed in this. So they really deal with big holistic themes in this show, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And it really is led by Dan Harmon and his writing team, who are creating a show that is so clever, because conceptually the show is really about these Greek gods, but in themes, they're dealing with real modern issues, and they're dealing, not just with their character relationships, but like I said, dealing with corporate greed, with Steve Buscemi's character, dealing with the whole Comic-Con thing, which I think was wonderful, and most importantly, brotherly love. It's continues to be wonderful. Definitely a highlight was seeing Chris Hardwick playing himself as a old school con host, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. So again, look, he gets a big workout in the show. That's because there's a lot of quality at the moment, and this show definitely deserves a Dazzer. Fantastic. Jace, I was just talking about hepatitis. Was that Hephaestus? His name was Steve.
Hephaestus, yes.
Hephaestus,
Yes.
who did the voice. Gee, what a great character, because he kind of represented corporate greed for me, and
Yes.
that's
I
right,
just
using other people's talents.
it is. Oh, he's Elon Musk. It astounds me how much I left out of my review because there was just so much. I didn't even touch on the whole Steve Buscemi's Hephaestus thing, or Deliria having to admit that she's wrong because she can't change Stupendous' friends back to. She can't reverse Medusa them. Incidentally, the reverse Medusa with the snake top and the legs at the bottom. I laughed so hard at that. And it was the dumbest joke, but it just worked. A reverse Medusa, I loved it. And of course, the payoff whenever the reverse Medusa turned itself into stone was just absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, that was a great.
I'm still getting some weird connection issue, but we're just going to roll with it.
I will go with it. The internet gods are not happy with it. That's fine. We'll move it on, Jace. We'll struggle through. All right, the next thing we're going to go talk about now is we're going to keep in the animation realm. We're going to talk about Family Guy. No, Family Guy. All right. Not only connectivity, he's got breathing issues too, folks.
Yes.
Now,
well,
All right, so I did the last bit. Let's kick on to Family Guy, which again we're up to episode 5, and it's called Baby Cold Outside. An average Family Guy episode, to say the least. Even though I did kind of enjoy it, and there was a couple of good throwaway gags. It really is. We are just retreading old storylines now with, Peter leaving Lois to go and worry about himself, which is highlighted in when she was getting attacked by a shark and he just does the bolt, which was kind of nice. The whole Stewie thing and finishing it off with a nice little homage to The Shining at the end, kind of I liked. But yeah, it was a very throwaway episode for me, Jason. Nothing kind of grabbed me. There was a nice little Danny DeVito gag there. There's other kind of bits and pieces. But I felt a little bit underwhelmed. I'll be honest with you, Jason. A little bit underwhelmed with this. I always get a laugh out of the show because I think inherently my comedy is based on a 4-year-old child's. So, I will find slapstick comedy and throwaway jokes funny. But overall, I think Family Guy now is having a problem of what it's going to do to keep itself fresh moving forward. Because I'm not feeling freshness from the show this season. And especially with this episode, this could have been done season 7, season 13, season whatever. It didn't really feel like anything new or fresh. So that's where I'm at. So I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. So it's apathy bear time, the bear of apathy. There you go, Family Guy. I don't hate you, but I don't love you. So that's where I'm at with Family Guy, Chase. Are you ready, buddy?
I am ready. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So, much to, I don't want to say my horror, but I guess my expectation, when Jay said, let's talk Family Guy, the first thing in my mind was, what happened on Family Guy this week? I don't remember a thing. And then it hit me, oh yeah, this is the shark episode. And oh yeah, Lois once again has had enough of Peter's stuff and Peter has to once again get her back. And Stewie starts hanging out with older people and he's just, okay, we've seen this all before. It's not only tired, this should be retired because it's been retread so many times. As Jay said, there was 1 or 2 good gags, but overall for the entire half hour, I was bored. And you can make me angry, you can make me happy, but don't bore me. And I found this episode just boring because I knew what was going to happen from the moment that Peter swam away from Lois and left her with the shark. I knew what was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a scheme. I knew it wasn't going to work. And I knew Lois would eventually get him back. Even the whole gag at the end where Lois says, I'm the alpha. We've seen it. We've seen it. We know this. This is nothing new. I honestly feel like this episode was earth-friendly because 99% of it was recycled. And I was bored. And when I'm bored, I get the crock out.
Wow, Jace, that is a biggie. That is a big call. And inherently, you know what I was thinking when I was watching the episode, Jace, was the whole, remember when Lois got jacked? and she was dominant.
Yes,
for a while.
yeah, we
Yeah, like
saw it. Yeah,
seeing this stuff over and over again, and inherently, I think Fox. I'm going to be really honest. I think Fox Studio, we're now Disney. The mouse is going to have a look at shows like this and go, "Is it time? Is it time?" And I'll be honest with you, Jace. I know, there's lots of great television out there. We even started talking about. So what do you think? I'm surprised. Should we nope out of this for a few weeks, come back and revisit it in a little while?
I think noping out of it for a few weeks would probably be best advised, because I think this is one of those things where we should try to let absence grow the heart fonder. I don't know if it's going to work, though.
I agree. But that gives us more opportunity to talk about fresh new shows down the pipeline. So let's move it on, Jace. Let's move it on now to, still in the animation realm, to a show that I have a different response to than I did with Family Guy, and that is Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers,
Ah,
Jace.
yes.
It really is one of those wonderful shows. And this is episode 6, called Escape from Witch Island. So are you ready to talk about this one, mate? Yep, I would say yes.
I'm ready. I'm still getting this weird delay on my side. It's so strange.
We are too. I am too. That's fine. We just have to go with the internet.
All right, let's just start the clock. Start the clock. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yes, it is an international song. All right. So, guys, Bob's Burgers is just consistently good. That's just it. It's a consistently good show. It's consistently funny. It may not make you bust a gut every week, but you're going to laugh and you're going to enjoy it. The show strengthens its characters. Bob, Linda, Tina, Louise, Jean, they're all wonderful. And then, of course, you get the supporting characters. Mr. Fishoder, for example, is such a great character. Just a rich person who's just so completely out of touch and delusional. And but I still enjoy his character because I don't think he's a bad person. He's not like Mr. Burns, who's just pure evil. He's just an out of touch rich douche. And Bob and Linda, they use him. They use him to get a free month's rent every now and again, or to get into the good graces, or to get a little bit of extra money. And it was just a fun episode. I enjoyed the cocktail tutorial, so to speak. I enjoyed the degradation of this rich and privileged society into what was basically Lord of the Flies with old people. And gosh, I just got nothing bad to say about this show. It's just so consistent and so fun, and I'm just gonna give Dazzer another go. We'll make up for that crock right there. There you go.
Fantastic. All right, well done. Okay, it's my turn now to talk about this episode. Here we go. This was amazing. I love this. I love the fact that the episode is really centered around a drug-fueled rich people's weekend. I'm always looking behind my shoulder now for a naked Hubert to be attacking me at any point. No, I absolutely adored this. And besides that, you get a beautiful little beat story where, Linda's at home teaching the kids how to throw a cocktail party. I thought that was delightful. They're all dressed up, and Tina starts to have anxiety because she doesn't know if she's going to be able to socially adapt herself. I love the B plot in this one, and I certainly love the A plot, Poor Bob, the long-suffering Bob, who finds himself in these weird situations, and he's always the level-headed one with reason when there's chaos around him. No, a fantastic episode from what seems to be a show that is stunningly, and I'm shocked, really firing on all cylinders, 14 years in. Top marks for this show. I'm actually giving this one Ultra Dazzer.
Ooh.
Ultra Dazzer.
Hey.
So it deserves it. It deserves it.
It does. This show it's like a warm blanket. It's familiar, but not every episode feels like a retread. I mean, you get the same themes. It's basically Bob and Linda just trying to make it every month. Oh, here's an opportunity to make money. Let's go for it. But that's everybody. That's me. $20 is $20, and I have no shame.
Absolutely, you got to hustle to survive, and absolutely yes. No, look, it's just a wonderfully good-natured show. So yeah,
Yes, it
fantastic.
does not have a mean bone in its body, and that's what I love about
No.
it.
Well, we're going to change gears now, and get away from animation for a little bit, because now we're going to jump into, well, a show that has just had its final episode, Loki, season
Loki.
2. Wow. Okay. This is one that's going to be real hard to kind of get through, isn't it? In a very in a tune, because there's so much to talk about. But Jace, you're burdened with glorious purpose to give us your thoughts on what you thought of the final episode of Loki season 2.
Okay, so Loki season 2 is the best thing that Marvel's done this year. And I have enjoyed the stuff that Marvel's done this year. Heck, I even enjoyed Quantum Mania, and I know that's everybody's favorite punching bag. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. Go ahead and cringe. I don't care. You know what? Your disapproval is like mother's milk to me. But this show is so deep and so rich in character growth and development and originality. It takes this wonderful character who, I mean, let's face it, we all love Loki anyway, even though he was basically a mass murderer. We forget that sometimes. But it takes him and it puts him in a place where he has to grow, he has to change, and it was fantastic. This was such a wonderful journey with wonderful characters. Mobius, played by Owen Wilson, was just this wonderful straight man for Loki to bounce off of. Sylvie, Loki's antithesis, you knew he was going to fall in love with himself. I mean, you couldn't expect that from Loki from anywhere else. And of course, Ki Kwan as Ouroboros. I honestly think that this is even the peak that we have seen Kang, because in Quantum Mania, he was kind of just there as just another villain. In Loki, he honestly seems like an actual threat, something that you need to be afraid of. And then, of course, you got the versions that aren't. And so I really hope that translates over to the big screen whenever they finally decide to do something with them in the MCU of note. The ending was amazing, literally seeing Tom Hiddleston carry the entire MCU on his back. I get the symbolism, and I love it, and it's accurate. And I think the tree is called Yggdrasil. It's amazing to see it finally. And you know what? I got no choice. This is my Ultra Dazzer for the week right here.
All right. Okay, it's my turn. I suppose it's my turn. Yeah, look, I will repeat what Jason said. This is probably one of the better years they've done in Marvel for the last couple of years, barring Quantum Mania, which is problematic for me. But so strong, I would say, since WandaVision, this is probably the best thing they've done on television, and I'm still weighing up whether it's actually better than WandaVision in my book, because it was so well done. It was a beautiful execution to the end of that character. 14 years Tom Hiddleston's been doing this role, and so many iterations. To actually see him become God Loki, and to see that he has found his glorious purpose, is wonderful, and to me it feels like, I know they're talking about, well, that's the end of that character. I don't believe so. I think what they've done here is set up the future quite well, to see Loki maybe back into some of these big franchise Avenger films that are being planned, but overall performances, I mean, Tom Hiddleston, the amount of emotional energy he must take to play Loki, because he puts everything into it, and it was really on show with this final episode, which is really core about him, figuring it out, the old idea that he's been doing that for centuries, and then to learn it, it's crazy, but that's how committed he was. We saw a really significant change in Loki, and it wasn't done just for the blink of an eye because they needed to end the movie, or we need Loki to be a good guy and Thor Ragnarok for a little bit because we want this buddy up thing. No, we actually got a full exploration of this character who was at one point, and we saw the significant change over 2 seasons. This is television at its best, far as I'm concerned, and it's Ultra Dazzer as well. So I had to tie that up there. Let me bring it up, the Ultra Dazzler. But what I was going to say, I know, Jace, some people have been comparing this to Doctor Who. Doctor what? I don't care. It's still a great story. They haven't stolen from it. It's just where this kind of got to, you know? Have you not read that,
it
Jace?
Doctor Who? I don't get that.
Well, there have been some comments coming out, especially online, saying that they stole the loom idea and how he does it specifically from a Doctor Who episode, which I'm not aware of. But I go,
I've never
come
heard
on.
of that either.
In a world where every story's been told a million times, you're always going to have elements to cross over.
Yeah, I'm honestly pretty sure that's also from mythology.
Yeah.
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 Next
so
thing
there
you know,
is actually a lot more based in the Marvel comics that comes from this than any other.
Yeah,
Doctor
I
Who or
don't
anything
know.
like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, do we see?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think we see Loki again?
We're definitely going to see Loki again. Even Tom Hiddleston is saying, yeah, this is not the end of Loki. We're going to see him again. And you know what? I'll be happy to see him again because this episode was great. And the whole entire season was great. I wasn't crazy about season 1, but season 2 just is an instant classic. And as I said, it's original. It was engaging. The characters were wonderful. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Loki next.
I was struck when I was thinking about it afterwards how emotional that show was when it really didn't need to be. But the level of emotion from those characters, from everyone, even Kid Kwan, who had a couple of beautiful scenes there, you know, everyone was just firing in this, you know, and the whole Back to the Future 2 thing where he's going back to that final scene with Kang from season 1. I love that. I love the revisiting of that and them working that out and Loki having to come to terms with, you know, what he needs to do. Oh, so good.
Yes, it was amazing. Great. Everybody who says that the MCU's running on fumes right now, go watch Loki season 2. And go watch the Marvels. Quit sitting there saying it's bad if you haven't seen it yet.
Can I just say on the Marvel too, you know what's really grinding my gears about this whole
I don't know. I like grinding your beard. I think that fits.
Grind my beers. Yeah, it really upset me is this criticism of it's a failure, it's a flop. I'll tell you what, financials have nothing to do with the quality of a movie. Nothing to do with it. In fact, those films that you love so much, go have a look back at some of their box office. I guarantee you half the movies that you love so much made no money at the box office. And it's just ridiculous that people associate that with the movie being bad. It just drives me nuts.
Well, the fact that I'm seeing the criticisms about, oh, yes, it has a woke message. But whenever you ask these people, what's the woke message, they can't tell you.
Ugh.
It's just, I'm sorry. If you use the term woke, I automatically take 50 points off your IQ. If I'm feeling generous.
I'm going to make this assumption, Jason. Any of those criticisms are based from people that actually haven't watched the film.
They haven't. Because every single one I've asked, what's the woke message? They have no idea. Well, I haven't seen this movie, but it has a woman in it.
There you go.
I hate people sometimes. I just absolutely, I do. I just hate people.
Well, you know, hopefully we're going to go into something we don't hate, and that is Goosebumps. We are now, yes, here we are at Goosebumps, and we are tracking along here to the penultimate episode of number 9, which is Night of the Living Dummy Part 2, Jace. So I suppose I better talk about it. This is going to be the quickest review I've done on this. I am checked out of this. I did not like this episode at all. I'm so disconnected with these characters. This felt like an epilogue than anything really main part of the story. I just don't care about Slappy. I don't care about the show. The characters are not grabbing me. It's been a very long time that I've watched a show and then invested so much time and completely not care what happens next. Goosebump is a failed experiment in my mind, and this episode again epitomizes what this show really is. A failed experiment. So I'm leaving it at that. I'm not even going to get to a minute here, Jace. This is a crock. It's a crock all the way. Boo!
Well, that's mean.
That is pretty mean.
All right, so
I'm sure you'll brighten it up.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to brighten it up.
Here we go.
Boring TV show, boring episode, a villain that I do not find intimidating or interesting at all, a character that I liked doing stupidest things possible for the sake of the plot. I'm just going to sum up my review in 2 words. Oh, and of course, hold on. Here we go. There we go.
What were they thinking, Jace?
And you know, this show had everything going for it. There for a while was like a mini version of Supernatural or the X-Files. And then it's like as soon as they hit the episode last week, they just ran smack into a wall, and the show sucks now. It has become amateurish and stupid.
I feel like they wrote a show for 5 episodes and then got told they had a 10-episode order and then tried to just fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it just feels that this could have been wrapped up in 5 or 6 episodes, this whole concept.
I honestly think these episodes, at least the last 2, I think they were written by AI. And I'm being dead serious. I think Disney experimented with AI for these because they just went from being really good characters, you know, to pretty interesting plots to just being soulless, just like the flip of a switch. And I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory that I have no evidence for, is that they're just writing these with AI right now.
You know, my other thought is the failure really comes down to just not keeping an anthology series. It should have stayed as an anthology series.
Yes.
It was built upon that. And to try to make it part of one big universe is just come across as frustrating, to be honest with you. But yeah, boo. Sorry. We're out.
Terrible. Yeah.
We're going to watch the last episode, though, because it is.
Do we?
There's one more episode called Welcome to Horrorland, so we're going to have to at least finish it up, I would suggest.
Fine.
All right, Jace, we're really getting on with it now, and we are going to be. Scavenger's Reign is a show that we've been talking about. We're actually going to delay that. We both ran out. We've had very, very busy lives, and we're going to talk about the second half of that season next week. Also, guys, you might have noticed that we haven't been talking about Chucky. Like, they didn't hate Chucky. They love Chucky. We love Chucky. However, what we found out is they've only released 4 episodes. They haven't even started filming the last half of the season yet because of the writers and the actors strike. So, unfortunately, the second half of Chucky, we may not get to see until mid next year at this point. So, I must say, I'm pretty disappointed in that. But
it's a boneheaded move. It is an absolute boneheaded move. They should not have released this season at all because they knew from the beginning they only had 4 or 5 episodes. This is how you kill a television show. It's just, I have no words. I have no words to express my disappointment in the decision making behind this. Because a year is a long time, and this was it was a good cliffhanger, I guess, but it's not that good. It's not good to sustain people throughout a year. A year, whenever the rest of the episodes air, people are not even going to remember this show existed, and they should have just set on the episodes until then. We could have waited another year for this entire thing. It's fine. And that girl that Chucky kidnapped, she's going to be like 19 in the next episode. Chucky, are you okay, Chucky? Do I look like I'm okay?
As we know, like, as the writers must be frustrated. Well, the creator must be frustrated because it's like you build momentum. That's how you get people engaged in your story. And now you've just gone, we're building it up, and nope. So, yeah. All right. And the other show that we will be talking about next week here too is Invincible. We haven't forgotten about that. But
that's his fault.
Busy weeks.
His fault.
My fault. I ran out of time. All right. But one show we did watch, which is kind of a one-off, even though it's part of a massive ongoing show that's been going for decades now, was South Park. Join the Pandaverse. It's a very different thing they're doing now, aren't they, South Park? They seem to be making a lot more of these specials and such. So,
yes. It's a weird thing. You know, they're trying to do something different, so it's fine.
All right. Did you want to have a crack and let me know what you thought of it?
I will have a crack at it. Absolutely.
Here we go.
So here's my issue First of all, I think it's very amusing that people who are anti-woke are taking bits and pieces out of this episode and playing clips online saying, "Oh, look, South Park supports us," but they don't they don't ever play the part that makes fun of them. And it's the same on the other side as well, guys. This is an episode that doesn't take sides. It sets in the middle and points at both sides and says you're both stupid. But here's the problem: this episode sets in the middle, points at both sides, and says you're stupid. I'm not always one that says that a television show has to take one side or the other. But what I find rather cowardly about this special is that it sets in the middle and tells both sides that they're dumb. That is just the most cowardly, centrist thing to do. If you want to make fun of them, that's just great. If you want to make fun of both sides, that's just great. But just sit there and not take a position. Not say I support this or I support that or I'm against this or I'm against that. But just say, yeah, everybody's stupid. I just find that a very cowardly thing to do and very out of character for South Park. As for the episode itself, it was not good, to be honest. It was really not that funny. I think that the gags kind of fell apart many times, and I don't really think it ever really started to get going until probably the third act. And I do think that the funniest bit was that the Cartman replacement basically scammed them all into getting this really fast gaming system so they could play Baldur's Gate. I laughed at that, but it was about the only time that I did laugh. I will say that the diverse characters that they got to play the South Park kids in the alternate universe were actually very well cast. The voice actors were awesome. But overall, and I'm very surprised I'm saying this because I love South Park, I'm giving this one a thumbs down because I just did not think it was very successful.
Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll let you know what I thought. I had a bit of a different experience with this episode. I'm not going to say I love it, nor am I going to say that I think it's one of their better episodes because it wasn't, because it was flat. But, you know, my thing with them is I never felt that they were being cowardly about it. I just thought they were stepping back. But you bring up a good point because South Park has always been known with taking sides, giving their strong opinion and going, I don't care what you think about it. This is the way it is. So I definitely get your point there. It works good when Kathleen Kennedy comes in. I did like that a little bit. I thought that was very good. But my favorite bit about the whole episode is this concept of the handymans. I love that all the handymans become billionaires because everyone went to college and got dumb. Now, there's a message in that, isn't there? So I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and I kind of like that. But yeah, like South Park has been like this for 10 years, I would say. Sometimes they really knock it out of the park, and sometimes they just hit a two-hitter, you know, and maybe even like get struck out. So I didn't hate it, didn't love it, thought it was okay. Yes, the idea, it was like, we're going to do something really bold, really topical, and then we're not going to actually take it as far as we really want to take it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's Comedy Central now. A bit more like you can't take a side. You've got to stay centrist. Who knows? But yeah, maybe also South Park, maybe better to take a little bit of a break because I feel like they're starting to also live in the same house as The Simpsons and Family Guy. Is maybe it's time to move on. So yeah, it doesn't get a hate me, but it definitely gets the apathy bear. So that's where I hit with it, Jace.
So you know what that means, right?
Damn you.
Damn you for disagreeing.
Yeah, but hey, look, I'll stand by the fact. I think they probably need to go away for a little while.
I do think that they need to take a break, you know, maybe set back, get another project like Basketball or Team America, kind of get their mind refreshed and then come back. Because I don't think South Park needs to end. I think it's too important to end. I really am a huge fan of the show. I just think that they're missing the mark a lot, especially with the change in format.
Yeah, true. Now, what's interesting though, as they were, I in the 90s and 2000s, they're the rebels, right? They're the rebels. They're the new generation who's challenging, systems and ideas. But now these guys are now the elders. They're not the fresh rebels anymore. And I wonder if that's impacting the stories, because now they're not looking at it as nearly 50-year-old men. They're not looking at it as late 20s or 30s guys who are challenging ideas and concepts. So that might be a factor too.
Perhaps so.
Perhaps. All right, Jace, that is it for our normal kind of shows, but we're going to get into, you've got yourself a, what we like to call a sudden death. You know what? I just realised, what is our sudden death show, Jason?
You know what? Our sudden death was South Park. Our sudden death was South Park, and so
I deserve that one. Hey,
you did.
As soon as I played the clip, I'm thinking, hang on, we just did that.
That's what I was thinking.
Again,
is like we have a sudden death. I'm sitting here going, we do?
What is that?
No! I have to pretend like I watched something.
No. What we do have.
What have you done,
really
Jace?
Talking about is because I don't have one this week, but I know you have a hidden gem. All right, let's get rid of the clock. We don't need the clock for this one, Jace, because I want you to wax lyrically about the show that you're going to be talking about, which is this one.
Yes, this is an internet show, so you can watch it right now on YouTube for free. There's been a pilot, and they did a fundraiser, and I believe that they are going to be producing a few more. But this show is called Laxadaisy, and it is set in Prohibition America. And it is, it's got cats in it, so I love cats. But this is one of the most beautifully animated, I don't want to say amateur because it does not look amateur, but it is one of the most beautifully animated internet cartoons I have ever seen. And it is just dripping with quality, and it's dripping with atmosphere. What we have in this pilot episode are these 3 cats. They're trying to smuggle booze, basically, and they run afoul of a local crime lord. And they are just trying to make their way back to their speakeasy with this booze. I could just watch the animation with the sound off. But if you turn the sound off, you're going to miss all the great dialogue. The facial expressions on these characters are fantastic. The personalities are fantastic. I don't know if you watched this because I told you about it, but
I didn't.
Oh, you're in for a treat, and you were
busy
really
week.
like not doing well this week, by the way.
No.
My gosh. But yeah, do yourself a favor and watch it. There are so many layers upon layers to this. You can see how this is going to set up a fantastic program, a fantastic series.
Is that what they're trying to do?
Yes, they have raised up enough money, I think, to do, please don't quote me on this, 3 more?
Cool. How many do they have now?
1. They have one.
Okay.
They have just the one. So if you want to get in there on the ground floor, do it now. This came out a couple of months ago, and everybody was talking about it. It was on Animators React. The Incredible Mr. Enter did a show about it. Schaefer Ellis did a show about it. And then it just kind of vanished, and nobody's talking about it anymore. And I want people to talk about it again, because Laxadaisy is something special, and more people need to be talking about it.
Fantastic. Well, I will promise you this. I will definitely be watching it now because, I definitely want to support independent artists, getting opportunities for sure. So go check it out, guys. Laxadaisy. And I'll tell you what, in the description below,
please do. It's fantastic.
The link there for you guys, all right? Brilliant.
Yes, we will, because we want to help these people out, because we support independent artists and dependent artists. We support all artists, except Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll can go jump off the cliff.
Yeah. Stop making movies, Uwe.
Did he?
I'm just always amazed that
movies, hasn't he? I don't know.
Like, how does he get financing? Like, I know how he gets his financing. It's from
It's a tax scam.
It's
a tax scam.
It has to be. It has to be. Like, because
it's a
don't
tax
invest
scam.
in Uwe and think I'm going to be making money from this project. That's for sure. All right. No, okay. Well, that's it, guys. We've wrapped it up again.
No, it's to launder money and to write it off on your taxes.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go through some of the comments, Jace. All right. Let's see where we go here.
Okay.
Fairy Penguins, g'day. I know you've been watching the whole time. Good afternoon, nerds. G'day, mate. How are you? How you doing?
Back at
Captain
you.
Joe Dove goes, if you guys have HBO Max there, it's an insane show called Scavenger's Reign. So wild. Well, Captain Joe Dove, you didn't watch last week.
Does he even watch this show? Oh, my gosh.
Does.
Do you know that TV comes in color now?
Oh, we should pick up Captain Joe Dove. He once said to me,
should.
do you guys have, I think it was like McDonald's, like Kentucky Fried Chicken in Australia, which I thought was the funniest thing ever. Anyway.
Yes, except we fry the roos. It's Kentucky Fried Roux. Except it's Melbourne Fried
Well, this Aussie
roux.
doesn't like Bob's Burgers, so sorry, mate. Jace, do you want to play it?
How dare you? How dare
Does Fairy
you?
Penguin
hold
get
on.
it?
I don't even have it. Here we hold on.
Here we go.
Be
Fairy
still.
Penguin,
Be still.
sorry, mate.
For you.
Sorry, Fairy Penguins, you deserve that one.
You deserve that so much. How dare you?
How is Queen Battle Cat? Yeah, how is that? Hey, cats have been strangely quiet tonight. What's
They
going on
have
there?
been. Where are they? It's like they're waiting. They were playing with my green screen like right before we came on, and then they just disappeared. I see Fizzgig over there. He's sleeping. I guess they decided to sleep too. I don't know where they're at. They're waiting. They're waiting for the opportunity.
That's somewhere. All right. What did he go? Transformers, he had made for like 5 million.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course, it also, well, to the fact that gross box office gross does not denote quality.
Ah, right. That's true. And the fact of the trauma of that animated movie, what it did to me. I don't really want to revisit that again. Yeah, that's it, guys. Well, thanks for watching as always. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back next week with a whole new episode to bug you guys with. But until then, you can find us somewhere else. You can find Jason tomorrow night. And I love this. This is awesome, guys. Jason is doing, I believe, the new Agony booth over in Captain's Quadrant tomorrow night with Captain Joe Dove, and he has to watch a Picard Season 2 episode called
I
Hide
could stand
and Seek.
anything besides Season 2. Good Lord.
I was laughing so hard at that one.
Oh.
So enjoy that. It is a wonderful show. The Agony booth is back. The boys will be kicking butt in the world of Star Trek and complaining about all things horrible. All right, you can also find me over on the Pop Culture Spread channel every Saturday morning Australian time, Friday night American time, where we go over the week's news of what's going on in the world of movies and TV streaming, stuff like that. And also just launched, because, Jason, you know, the big thing about me is I'm big on nostalgia because I'm getting old. And I love nostalgia, and I find memories to be very comforting. So I've decided to start a YouTube Shorts channel called VHS Chase, where you're going to be able to watch all these little intros and clips and everything from the last 50 years of my existence as I play out my nostalgia muscle on that channel. And it's good fun. Oh, it's going to play it again. It's nice to sometimes have one place where you can go and get all that memorabilia all over your face, neck, and chest.
Absolutely.
All right,
just slather yourself in that.
We'll leave it on that, Jace. You got anything more to say to the audience out there?
Watch Scavenger's Reign if you haven't done so already, because it's an amazing show. I know we didn't talk about it, but it is fantastic. And if you're not watching it, you're wrong.
We will definitely may even expand our time length on that one next week, because I have seen the whole series now at this point. I'm just waiting for Jace is the problem on this one. And it is, you have to watch it. You really do, don't you, Jason?
I think I'm up to episode 8, so I've only got a couple more to go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. Yep. She'll be right. What do you think of the new promo? Not bad.
That was the
Little
ugliest deer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Like
It's like
he
a
would
deer on steroids.
say that to his face.
I will not.
Like a grapefruit.
He will. He will. Is
So,
there a
he wanted
Is
so
there
much money for that.
Yeah. Is there a kangaroo-based cereal in Australia? Because there should be, like Ruos, kangaroos. I don't know.
Oh, there's lots of stuff like that. But here's the problem: it's actually made of real kangaroo.